So the user physically moves the phone through space, creating like a drone shot. And then when they're happy, they essentially hit order. That order goes to a network or drone owners. They upload the drone mission right to the drone, and the drone autonomously launches and films exactly what the customer had pre-described in the comfort of their own home.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 264. What do you do if you need a specific video shot, but don't want the hassle with hiring a drone operator? Well, today's guest has you covered. Brian Streem is CEO and founder of Vermeer, a technology company that is developing an augmented reality drone solution that enables anyone to easily capture aerial photos, videos, and data. Users can design their aerial shots on their smartphones and then send it to a drone to execute autonomously in the real world. Vermeer's solution is designed for people who want to create high-end drone photos and videos, but who don't own a drone, nor do they want to buy one. In this edition of the Drone Radio Show, Brian talks about Vermeer, its augmented reality drone solution, and how people can get the exact video or image they are seeking without ever having to fly a drone. But before we hear from Brian, I want to thank those of you who are supporting my funding campaign. Whether it's $1, $100, or much more, you can help defray the cost of production and keep the podcast going and growing. Go to droneradioshow.com/donate. So let's find out how we can get the video shots we need using augmented reality. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Brian to introduce himself.
My name is Brian Streem. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Vermeer.
Brian, tell us about Vermeer and what it does.
Vermeer is a augmented reality drone navigation system. So we essentially allow people to pre-plan and pre-visualize their drone mission in an augmented reality virtual environment.
How did the company get its start?
So we started as a drone service company. And the way to think about it is most of the times when you're watching a movie or a TV show on HBO and Netflix, and there's like a drone shot, there's a really good chance that my company was doing the drone cinematography as a service for that. So we did Steven Spielberg movies, and we did the Fast and the Furious franchise. So we had a lot of customers, mostly in the media space. But what we found was that it was really hard for customers to actually articulate and describe and collaborate with our drone pilots and camera operators what kind of drone footage they wanted. Like, we spent hours between sending emails back and forth, text messages, conference calls, drawing on napkins. And there was no good way to actually communicate what our customers wanted. So 2018, at the end of 2018, we essentially decided that was a real big opportunity. And we felt that a lot of people who operate drones also kind of have this problem of finding it hard to pre-visualize and pre-describe what they want from the drone to their service provider. So we decided to build software that solved those pain points.
It sounds very similar to what happens in filmmaking, where every shot is planned out in advance.
I would say the pre-visualization or the previs or the storyboarding, that's done in a lot of I would say bigger budget stuff, but a lot of it's not done on the kind of medium or lower budget stuff just because they don't have the right tool to do it. So, but that kind of process of pre-visualizing, I don't think is only helpful for the film industry. We have customers now in energy inspection, the DoD space, and real estate. I mean, there's kind of a need to help people just kind of understand the mission and collaborate with other people, because even in something like the DoD space, which we're now selling our product into, these people want to understand, make sure everybody's on the same page and do it easily and timely and effectively. So it's not just a problem of Hollywood.
So how does the service actually work?
So the Vermeer app is currently on the iOS App Store, so anybody can download it. The way it works is the user essentially downloads the app, creates an account. pulls up a 3D model of a real world location where they really want drone footage. And we present this 3D model of it's a kind of like Google Earth in augmented reality. And we present it to the user in augmented reality. And the user turns their phone horizontally. So they treat the screen of their phone as if it's what the camera of the drone is going to look at. So the user physically moves the phone through space, creating like a drone shot, if you will. So they're able to kind of create these virtual drone shots. They are able to play it back. It's like the digital movie file. They could share it. Now they could share it because they have like this previs digital movie file. They could share it with a bunch of their collaborators. They could take notes. They could edit it. And then when they're happy, they essentially enter credit card information, hit order right in the app. And then that order goes to a network of drone owners. The owner gets pinged, shows up at the location of where the drone mission is supposed to take place. They upload the drone shot or the drone mission right to the drone, and the drone autonomously launches and films exactly what the customer had pre-described in the comfort of their own home. The way we're able to do this is that 3D model is geo-rectified. So as the user is moving his or her phone through space, we're essentially saving GPS waypoints and camera orientation position, and then just sending that file directly to the drone.
And you're saying the customer doesn't have to go anywhere near the site?
The customer could sit in their living room, create the shot, and then just order it right through the app. And then their drone owner, somebody on our network, will get pinged. They'll show up to the location. So it's kind of like a marketplace business model.
You mentioned that the idea for Vermeer came from your experience in a drone for service company.
That's correct.
How did you go from that business to creating Vermeer?
For some reason or another, my whole life, I've been very interested in like the concept of cameras moving through space. I've always been like a lover of movies. And I think when you watch a movie and you see like a really cool shot, you're always kind of blown away by like the technology of like how they did that camera trick or that camera movement. So when I started my drone service company 5 or 6 years ago, the aviation of the drone industry is like not what interests me at all. Like, I don't really care about any of that stuff. I don't really think the drone is a drone. I think the drone is just a camera that moves through the sky. So I started with the service company, which is kind of the only way I knew how at the time. And quite frankly, in 2013 or 2014, when I started to get into drones, I didn't know how to do what was in my head. I don't want to fly the drone. I want to move the camera. And then I guess maybe in 2016 or 2017, when the HoloLens came out, which was like the first augmented reality interface, and I put that on and I played with it, that's when kind of a light bulb struck. And I was like, this is how I'm going to fulfill this vision I have in my head to achieve this camera 3D previs tool. And that's kind of how it began.
When did you launch the company?
The service company started, I think, in 2015, the beginning of 2015. And then we really pivoted to the software technology at the beginning of 2019, end of 2018.
What about the people who are using your service?
We've had a lot of customers in the media and entertainment space using the product. NBC Universal, CNN, Netflix, people like that. Some energy customers like General Electric doing inspections, large real estate companies like WeWork. And we also were now beginning to work with the DoD as well.
And obviously, there's a cost savings to the client.
Before, you needed a talented and skilled drone pilot and a talented and skilled drone camera operator. So you needed 2 people to do it. And now it's all automated. Flight is automated, and you only need 1 person to show up with the drone. And that person no longer needs to be super talented. They could just be somebody who owns the drone because the mission is pre-programmed into it. So because of those, we're able to do it at a fraction of the cost.
Has there been an instance where the customer plans out their route, but when the footage comes back, he goes, that's not what I wanted?
We haven't yet, but typically when we have like a customer that we know is like paying, we'll just say there are customers that are paying more for like kind of a more like hands-on service. So right now we're making sure that they get exactly what they want to make sure they continue to use it as we improve the product. But we certainly hope to live in a day where the customer is 100% satisfied all the time through like this completely automated tool. So we just started. Customers have been very satisfied with it, and there are some challenging things to figure out, like weather conditions and time of day conditions and things like that. And time of day, we've started to figure out, like, we could run simulations of like where the sun is going to be on a certain day, So if like sunlight's important, but certain things like weather is, hard to predict. And we're still trying to figure out how to handle those scenarios.
I imagine that what many find attractive is that they could get footage of a faraway place without ever having to go there. So long as the service exists in that area, of course.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. I think the app will really achieve like great success at this idea when people love taking pictures, people love taking video. You could tell that by like how the success of just like Instagram and things like that. And even drones. I think like the biggest segment of the market today with drones is aerial photo and video. People love taking photos and videos. So when we're able to kind of create an experience which is like as fun and as like artistic as somebody just taking a picture with their phone, I think that's kind of like when we'll reach success. Because at the end of the day, people don't care about like the technique or like the technology or the rotors or the wingspan or the flight controller. People care about like the artistry of this. And we're trying to kind of make it as pure as an artistic process as possible.
Who owns the rights to the data?
Right now, the client pays for it and owns it. We're considering other models, but right now, that's the way it works.
What do clients need to know to get the most out of the service?
What I could say is, download the app, play with it yourself, go through the tutorial. There's a tutorial in the app, play with it. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. And
what does the service cost?
So right now for a 15-second shot with like a Mavic 2 drone, we're charging, I think it's like $65 a shot. A lot of customers want like higher end stuff. So if it's higher end, we kind of, we have an enterprise salesperson and we'll kind of figure out exactly what they want and, quote them a price.
I'm curious, was Vermeer a pivot of the former company or an entirely new business?
A pivot of the company, and just decided that there was more opportunity in this sort of a business and this sort of like technology company as opposed to a purely service-based business.
Was it a difficult transition to make?
Deciding that you're not going to do what you've been doing and then kind of do something tangential. I mean, it's hard. It was hard. It's emotionally challenging to decide that what you're doing isn't the right thing to do. And, you need to get people behind you. And there's a lot of challenges associated with it. But ultimately, you have to see the bigger picture. And sometimes when you're running a business, you get so caught up in kind of the day-to-day, like administrative stuff of it, that you kind of lose sight of the big picture. And I think I hopefully didn't lose sight of that and was able to pivot to the thing that I thought really had the bigger opportunity.
Was there a point when you knew that the company was on the right track?
We just got into this Techstars Accelerator, which is funded by the U.S. Air Force. So we got into that. We started that program maybe 2 or so months ago. So it's introduced us to a lot of people in the DoD space, Army, Navy, Air Force, people like that. And being in the program and being kind of surrounded with like these people who are like very professional at flying drones, the fact that our product resonates with them, it kind of has made me feel like, okay, maybe we're going in the right direction.
What's your thoughts on using augmented reality as a business tool?
I mean, I think it's all about like the right use case. I mean, it's got to solve like a real, it just can't be cool. Like being cool is not good enough. It needs to like really solve like a pain point. I wouldn't say that we're a virtual reality company. I would say we're still a drone company that's using virtual reality to make it easier. So yeah, you got to find the right pain point and not just build something that's cool.
What have been some of the key challenges in getting Vermeer to where it is today?
There's not one thing. There's not one key challenge. It's kind of like an all-encompassing challenge. There's people problems, dealing with people, handling emotions. There's market execution, being too early, regulatory hurdles, logistical hurdles. There's every hurdle you could possibly imagine. And you have to be really smart and very good to figure out how to avoid a lot of stuff. And, when I started, I made a ton of mistakes all over the place, but now I've been doing it for a few years. And you kind of just like a muscle, you train it and you kind of, hopefully you get a little experience and you understand what to avoid and what not to do a little bit better. But there's, tons of hurdles when you're first starting.
What advice would you give to other entrepreneurs?
I would say focus on sales. Focus on sales. figure out a way to sell your stuff, whatever the hell it is. Just sell relentlessly and figure out a process by which you could scale sales quickly and don't stop. Because at the end of the day, if you want to raise money, you'll do that if you have sales. And if you have revenue, you won't go bankrupt. So sales is kind of the solution to all of your business woes.
Where is the service available?
So right now we're available in the 5 boroughs of New York. But we're in the next couple of days, I think we're going to be launching an update to the app, which we're going to be available in Los Angeles and I believe Miami. And then the next couple of months, we're going to be rapidly expanding our 3D model database. So anybody could request a location and in near real time, we'll present them a 3D model of that location to create a drone mission.
And for my final question, Brian, what message would you like to leave regarding the future of the drone industry?
I think what we're trying to do and what I kind of have seen is that, a lot of people love drone photo and video for one reason or the other, but it's just really hard to get. Like it's just like there's always logistics involved in it. And I think that if we really want the drone industry to kind of expand and grow more than it has, we're going to need an easier way for customers that want these aerial photos, video data to get them. And we just got to make it easier. We just got to remove friction and remove pain points. And that's what Vermeer is all about. It's about making it super simple for anybody to get photo or video. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about the drone. They care about the data it's producing.
That's it for episode 264 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Brian Streem of Vermeer and learning about their new augmented reality drone solution. I want to thank Brian for taking the time to speak with me. If you want to learn more about Vermeer or want to connect with Brian, check out the website at vermeer.com. If you like the Drone Radio Show, please consider supporting the podcast with a small donation. The content is always free, but for as little as $1, you can help defray the cost of production. To donate, go to droneradioshow.com/donate. And thanks for listening. Your support means a lot to me, and I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Goers.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.